Hello and welcome to this video tutorial. My name is Mahmoud and in this video I'm going to discuss something about Spring Boot framework. So if you talk about the framework world, especially in Java frameworks, Spring Boot is the most or popular one in this domain. So basically, this is the official website of Spring Boot, like spring.io, and there you will find all the required information about this framework. So basically, for example, here you can see some of the potential that what it can do. For example, it is also useful for many different applications, like including you can build microservices, you can do something reactive, something like Spring's asynchronous non-blocking architectures means you can get more from your computing resources, something like optimization. You need also cloud-based infrastructures. You can develop web apps. You can also create serverless applications, um, event-driven batches for automatic tasks, and many more things. So basically, the purpose of making this video is just to make myself prepare for Java world, because now I am interested to write some or develop my skills in Java programming language, and that's why I am starting learning this framework, because this is most important um, buzzwords in the Java world. And even if you know more about this, you can easily find a job with a high paying salary in different regions of the world. So without further ado, let's see, for example, simply focusing on the microservices, like it's like a different kind of architecture, or a modern kind of architecture, which is the new normal uh, for building small and self-contained ready-run applications. So, so one of the more or the core feature of Spring Boot is that it lets you to create Spring Boot applications in a very fast, easy, and secure manner. So you don't have to worry about writing all these code boilerplates, or worrying about the security features. It will all tackle with these framework. Okay, so yeah, there are different points. For example, if I literally read everything, then you can see that they are self-explanatory and I don't need to define them in my own words. So for example, these microservice architectures are new normals building small self-contained ready-to-run applications, which can bring great flexibility and added resilience to your code. And yeah, so basically this point here, so what are microservices? So microservices are a modern approach to software whereby application code is delivered in small manageable pieces independent of others. Now, now the question is that why you need to build microservices? So because of their small scale and relative isolation can lead to many additional benefits, such as easier maintenance, improved productivity, greater fault tolerance, better business alignment, and many more other advantages. So, and microservice with Spring Boot, basically you can start small and you can iterate very fast. So it's a kind of a like it lets you to start creating your scalable applications in a very fast manner, and it has become the now de facto standard for Java microservices. So quick start to your project with Spring Initializer and then package as a jar. With Spring Boot's embedded server model, you are ready to go in minutes. We will do this in shortly, but just go through quickly all these different points, and then we can simply write our first hello world example with this Spring Boot framework. So then we can see this microservice resilience with Spring Cloud. So once you have managed or curated different microservices, then how to manage them, and for this the Spring Cloud come into play. So which basically handle all different kind of things, for example, service discovery, load balancing, circuit breaking, distributed tracing, and monitoring. It can even act as an API gateway. So yeah, there are like many hidden gems that you have to find or by exploring yourself and by diving deep into this their platforms and see what you can achieve or what do you want to do in your development or in your projects, and you will find many things here. Then here building streaming data microservice with the Spring Cloud Stream. Then there are also different sections with their links where you can learn more about and with the initial starting projects. So, and if we go basically, where do we go? If we are here in microservices and if we go to this, for example, microservice and try our quick start guide, here we will see that the title said Spring Quick Start Guide. So basically in today's tutorial we are going to explore this thing here. So basically we are trying to build, it says if you follow this guideline that what you will be building. So you will build a classic hello world endpoint which any browser can connect to. You can even tell it your name and it will respond in a more friendly way. So for this you will need to have any integrated development IDEs such as IntelliJ IDE, Spring Tools, Visual Studio Code or Eclipse. In my case I will use Eclipse, and if you wanted to, yeah, Eclipse ID, and they are recommending the JDK 17 for this tutorial. So by the way, by this recording, JDK 19 is out, but we are focusing on 17 because it is whenever the new version of JDK announces, so it's sometimes or often comes with some bugs. So right now the most stable release is the 17 with advanced features. Now there are a couple of ways to create a Spring Boot project, a Spring Boot Maven project. So either you just follow this spring.io quick start guide and you go to this Spring initializer and just select some of the required configuration like Java project, Maven, Java language, Maven project, creating a Spring Boot snapshot or a stable version, and defining group ID, demo, and so on. Select the Java version and add dependencies. Or you could do the other way around, because sometimes this kind of method creates problem when you try to run your it also works fine, but you have to configure, and I think it is really painful if you configure. So let's start it by following this tutorial. So first of all, it says that we have to go to this start.spring.io website, and there you can simply define the configuration of your project. So for example, we are here, for example, and we select the Java language. We are selected the project of type Maven. Then we just have to select the version of Spring Boot, and then we have to define the group ID and demo the artifact ID, and that will basically design the decide the project name. For example, you can select anything whatever you like. For example, if I am selecting Mahmoud, so you can see that it is changing here, and similarly if I change the artifact ID to some, for example, Spring Boot example, and you can see that it's changing here. So for now we make it simple, we go for default, something like this, and we are basically selecting, we are going to there and we are selecting Spring Web. So this is we already included, so first you have to click and just add any dependency that you may require in your future projects. Basically that's it, and you just have to click generate. So in my case I already have created a folder, and now I have just simply go to my Eclipse, and there I simply click import, and inside this import I select click existing Maven project, and there I simply click where I downloaded this demo project. And one thing you have to remember that before importing this project, you just have to unzip or whatever. It comes in the archive format. You just have to unzip it and make it a folder and like unextracted files. And just simply the select folder and then click select folder, and then simply it will be click finish, and then your project will appear here. As in my case, it appears here. And then you basically have to click this play button, and then it will start your Spring Boot application. Here it says that failed to start because server is already used, because I already started this application, which I can use this other button which should stop the previous running application and restart the application. So after this, after downloading your project file as an archive file, you just have to unzip it, and then you have to just like as you can see in my Eclipse IDE, I can go to file. From there I should go to import, and there in the Maven section I can select existing Maven project, click next. From the browse button, you just have to navigate to this project in your download location. So for example, there I select demo, select folder, click finish, and basically that's it. It will locate all these in my source com.example. This is the package name, and there is the main file. So basically this is all your scaffold that's generated by this Spring Boot framework. So here you can see this is the package name, imported some libraries. You can click the plus button to see any other libraries that are part of this project that are already by default imported. And here this is the main section where you can see that you have a public class demo application, which is annotated with this annotation is Spring Boot application, which the compiler tells that this class is a Spring Boot application. And finally, in the main method, this is the like you all may be familiar of this public static void main. This is the famous main method, which is the entry point of your project. So whatever your code write, this is the main function which is going to be executed and call all your different business logic which defined here. So in this case, we are running our Spring Boot application, and we are calling the run method. And in the run method, we are passing basically this class and the arguments that are associated with this class. So after that, I am just simply copying from this the code from the tutorial that we are following. So basically we just have to copy it all and just paste the code here. Now what we have done, we just added this method here. We added an hello method of type string, and this is a public method, and there we are giving only one argument, which is the name of type string, and we are like typecasting it to request param, where it should like if you go into the URI and you type there you have to pass a parameter. So in this case we are parameterizing this with the name with the value with the name variable. So for example, in the URI it will look for a param name value name, and if we supply any information in the name, like a name equals to XYZ for example, then it will take the name name's value and put it here in the return function. Otherwise, by default, if you don't provide any value to the name variable, it will automatically be assumed as world and simply return hello world. And we are routing this to this address with the get mapping, the get method basically, and then slash hello. And we are assigning this class also, we are annotating also with this REST controller. So, okay, when after this we just have to click run, and maybe first save, and then again, since the application is already running, we just have to select Spring Boot application. And you may notice here that Tom says that Tomcat initialize with port 8080, and our server is running. Now in the next step we will test the application whether it's running in our browser or not. So since our application is started, on port 8080, we can navigate to this address localhost 8080. At this point we can see only this message, white label error message, because we did not provide any root HTML file or anything like this which can display when we when we are routing to the root of our application. But we have this endpoint named hello. So what happens when we click this, when we route to this address, we click enter and we see the hello world example with what was expected. But let's see if we have to pass, and we have to pass the name. So how do we pass a param to this endpoint? We use the question mark and then name and equals to Mahmoud. If we enter this, you can see that the the method that is passing to that function is returning the name which we are passing from here. So that's all for this tutorial, and I hope you like this video. Consider liking this video, share with your friends, and if you have any suggestions or any comments, then feel free to write your comments in the section below. And also, if you also have some questions regarding this or any suggestions that you want me to create another video on some different topic, please feel free to write them in the comment section below. Until then, thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.